All right, in this video, we're going to work on the following problem. It says, oops, I got the previous problem in there. It says, write a program that asks the user to guess a number between 1 and 100. Use the random.randint function to make the computer randomly pick a number between 1 and 100. If the user guesses right, print you win. Otherwise, print try again. Okay. So in this one, in this problem, we're really not writing our own function definition, but we're using and calling this random.randint function. So that's this one here. So to see if we can correctly call a function. So, all right. So the very first thing that we're going to need to do is to import this module random right here. You can see it's random.randint. And so random is a module that helps with calling or generating random or pseudo-random really numbers. Let's see if I can pull up the documentation for that and we'll take a look at it. So here is the documentation for random. And here we can see some of the functions in there. Rand range. And what we're looking for here is randint. So here you can see it, randint. And in the documentation here, you can see that there's 2 parameters in the parameter list for randint. So that means when we call this, when we use this function in our program, we're going to have to give it 2 arguments, 2 pieces of information, one for each of the parameters in here. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So next up, right, what we're going to do is have the computer pick a random number. So I'm going to declare a variable called number, right? And then I'm going to use random.randint. I'm going to make that call. Remember, when you call a function, you put the function's name, and because this one's in the way we imported it, we have to put random.randint. And after the function's name, it's going to be followed by at least one open and close parenthesis. And so now what I need to do is to make sure that I put enough information in there for the function. And that's where this documentation comes into play. So I need 2 pieces of information, A and a B. And here I can read about it. It says return a random integer n such that A is less than or equal to n, which is less than or equal to b. Okay, so this is basically the first number is going to be the lower end and of the range, and the second number is going to be the upper end of the range. All right, so looking back at the statement, we're picking a number between 1 and 100. So right here, 1 and 100. Okay. Next up, right, is we're going to give the user some information. So we're going to tell them the computer has picked a number from 1 to 100. And then we're going to get their guess. To do that, right, we are going to use input, the input function, guess the number. And then we're going to wrap that in the int function. So that'll convert the value to an int so we can use it in the comparison. All right, next up, we're going to have an if statement. If the guess is equal to the number, then we're supposed to print you win. And then else print try again. Okay. So I'm going to guess 52. Try again. 76. And I'm not really going to be able to test this unless I look at the value of the variables here. So if I pull up this variables, then I can see, well, it'll show me afterwards. So I guess I have to debug through it. So if I pick 45, the number was actually 70. So here, if I, just to test things out, if I go to run and then debug right here on the current, oops, I've got to save first before I do that. So I'm going to call this one guess number. So if I run this and debug through it, I can use these little arrows to step through it. And here now I can see that the number is 44. So just to test things out, I'm going to pick 44 and make sure that I'm getting the correct message there, which I do. Okay. All right, and that is it on this one.